The topic of this video lesson is free trade. I will be explaining the advantages and disadvantages of free trade in the lesson. What is international trade? International trade is the exchange of goods and services involving more than one country. It is different from domestic trade or internal trade because products move across national boundaries. Goods and services that are brought into a nation are known as imports, while goods and services that are sold to other nations are known as exports. What is free trade? Trade that has no restrictions is free trade. It is the trade that is not limited by policies such as tariff, embargo, and quota. In other words, free trade allows goods and services to move across national boundaries without barriers. What are the advantages of free trade? Free trade is beneficial to consumers, producers, and the economy in different countries. This is why the World Trade Organization encourages countries to reduce barriers to international trade and settle disputes among countries engaged in trade. The advantages of free trade include the following: efficiency, choice for consumers, increased sales revenue, international competition, economies of scale, and better relations among countries. Efficiency. Free trade will promote a more efficient use of a nation's resources. Each country focuses on what it is good at and relies on others for those goods it does not produce. Countries will start shifting their resources from producing goods in which they have comparative disadvantage to producing goods in which they have comparative advantage. A country has a comparative advantage if it can produce a product at a smaller opportunity cost than another country. Consumers have access to a wider variety of products from different countries. This is because producers from overseas nations can freely sell their goods in a particular country. Consumers' standard of living improves as they can enjoy many goods and services from different parts of the world. Free trade increases the size of the product market, which boosts sales. Producers can sell their products in the international market and make more revenue than if they have been restricted to only one country. Free trade promotes international competition. Locally made goods and foreign ones compete against each other in the country. The existence of competition encourages producers to improve the quality of their products, because consumers will only buy from those companies that offer high-quality products. In addition, competition will increase the number of suppliers and put downward pressure on prices. Economies of scale. These are the benefits of large-scale production that drive down the unit cost, or average cost of a product. Producers may spread their costs across a vast output since they can sell in several nations. The cost per unit will decrease as a result. For example, the business can buy raw materials in bulk at reduced price because of quantity discount. It can also spread its advertising cost over a large output, resulting in low advertising cost per unit. Lower average cost or unit cost increases the profitability of a business. Trade among countries fosters better relations. Trade builds relationships between nations that make it more difficult for conflicts to escalate into war. In other words, free trade promotes peace. What are the disadvantages of free trade? The disadvantages include the following: it stifles domestic firms, loss of domestic jobs, dumping of goods, and current account deficit. Free trade stifles domestic firms. Domestic firms may not have the capacity to compete with foreign firms. Many foreign firms are big and enjoying cost advantage, which can make them lower their prices below the prices domestic firms charge. This will result in loss of sales for local businesses. Loss of domestic jobs. Imported products could be less expensive than those made locally. This makes it difficult for domestic producers to compete favorably with foreign producers. Loss of market share to foreign firms may cause the folding up of some domestic businesses. Consequently, many jobs may be lost. Dumping of goods. When a foreign company sells a good for less than what it costs to produce in another nation, it is known as dumping. Due to free trade, large and well-known overseas companies can sell their goods for less than what it costs to produce them domestically. This makes it difficult for local firms to survive. Current account deficit. When the borders of a country are open to all kinds of goods from different countries, importation will increase. If imports are more than exports, there will be a current account deficit. The country's payments will exceed the receipts in the current account. This means there will be more money going out of the country than coming in.